Good afternoon, happy Saturday. Feeling slightly worse for wear today because of our excellent gaucho escapade, which was a very expensive meal as it turns out, but it was a very delicious meal, and there was also quite a lot of wine. So today is going to be treat yourself delicately day. So that's what's happening. But we still need to eat things despite all the eating yesterday. And then tomorrow we may go to a palace.
Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
This was the place I was talking about the other week, right by Lion Gate. I use it as a thumbnail. It's on the market for £4,500 a month. So anyway, yes, I've come into Kew because I needed to do some walking and stretch my legs, and Crystal's having a nap. So I figured this was the easiest way for us to both be able to do the exact opposite things without too much trouble. So I'm going to do a full lap. Look at some of the amazing colours. The oaks and brown at the top, green at the bottom. And then this one is just a really vibrant selection of yellows and greens, and a little bit of brown at the very edge. We're back in Richmond, and yes, all the boats are covered in seagulls, and we're coming for breakfast for a day of palaces and whatnot. So this is Kensington Gardens. We're heading for Kensington Palace at the end of this road path. Some nice autumn colours. And the sun's breaking out, so it's actually very pleasant. You can see the palace through the football pitches over there. Here we are. There's the palace. There's some regaling if you missed it. Right there. And yeah, looks very good.
It's been repainted over the years and damaged a little bit, but the arc is there in the back right.
That was a little bit of Venetian art. This is the staircase up to the King's apartments, which is where we've just been. Now we're going to head back down from this grand staircase. These are the Queen's apartments. From the 1690s, a fair bit older, and a fair bit more muted. This is Victoria's apartments, where she lived, was born in fact, and studied. And this is all about the princesses, George III's kids. Caroline, his wife, and Augustus and Charlotte, who were the ones that set up Kew Gardens. So there's some interesting Kew books and specimens and drawings. So where? This is where we're going, through this beach maze. This is like the road in San Francisco.
Yeah.
We just have to pointlessly zigzag up a hill. Everyone queues just to go up and down it.
Same angle.
No.
And you could say cars.
No, thankfully. Not even a golf cart.
Gone as a young artist to put up.
So this Edwards is the orangery. And that behind us is the side with the palace. Come along Bankside, there's St Paul's. There's all the new skyscrapers, the walkie-talkie building, etc., the Sky Garden. And we are heading to this big chimney here, which is Tate Modern. lot of people are lying down staring at the pendulum. And then these are all the swings out here. I'm just walking down the carpet, which is actually excellent and changes colour constantly. So you get reds and yellows down this end and greens and blues down the other. Lots of swings, a lot of people swinging, and the turbine here. Very surreal. So here's the view from the 10th floor. So the turbines below us, and this is everybody staring at the view. Bit of neon arting, courtesy of Bruce Nauman. Lots of swinging, both this way, and here we have a massive pendulum. I'm just walking back along the south bank, having looked at some modern art, a bit of Matisse, a bit of Rothko, and a lot of pendulums and swings. Good morning. It is Monday morning. It's a little misty, as you can see. Maybe you can see, who knows, camera's not very good at picking up mistiness. And that was a lot of very fast parakeets. That's what you wake up to here. And the squawking. Oh God, if only you could eat parakeets. Anyway, I'm going to walk to Hammersmith this morning. So I hope you had a wonderful treat yourself day on Friday. We did. And the Gaucho experience was incredible as always. And then Saturday we had a bit of a cool down day, as you saw. I went for a bit of a walk, and Crystal was recovering from Friday, and then yesterday was excellent. So, you know, a bit of Kensington Palace, a bit of Tate Modern, and a beautiful day in London. Really much nicer than they said it was going to be. Now, today it's supposed to be very warm. And I mean that by London October standards. It's supposed to be about 22 degrees today. It's not yet, but it's already surprisingly warm for this time in the morning. And the reason being is there's a big lot of warm air being pulled in from the south, because there's a giant hurricane which is coming right for us. Actually, it's not coming right for us. It's coming right for Ireland. Hurricane Ophelia. I haven't actually looked at the maps this morning to see where it's supposed to hit, but it is supposed to hit Ireland at some point today. So that's a little worrying. So first of all, wow, what a way to be greeted in the morning. And secondly, if you look at the planes, they're sort of drifting sideways because of the crosswind, which you can't see down here or feel, but obviously, as I mentioned, hurricane. Very odd this morning. I suppose that's what happens when you get extreme weather systems, but it has all the look of an autumn morning, like the mistiness, the low yellow sun and what have you, and it has all the feel of a summer's morning. So it has that sort of warm humidity in the air that makes you think that later it's actually going to be baking. I mean, it's not, but it's 22 but it is a very odd feeling. Like, you very often in the morning you get a feel for what the day's going to be like. Today is confused. It's kind of charming and confused, but confused nonetheless. So this morning I'm attempting to do the Three Bridges version of this walk to Hammersmith, which is the longest version and least direct and slightly stupidest. I've crossed Chiswick Bridge, and I'm now going to cross back across Barnes Railway Bridge, and then I'm going to cross Hammersmith Bridge again back to the north side right at the end. Don't know why I thought of this idea, but it's kind of, once I've crossed Barnes Bridge, there's no going back, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and remind myself how long it actually takes. I think I've left enough time. Who even knows? 2 bridges down, 1 to go. I was wrong, it is actually quite warm. It's not a little bit warm. For walking temperature, it's actually very warm, especially when you're wearing a jumper. Muggins here, so yeah, maybe 22 is a slight underestimate. So here we are in the green and yellow tunnel. There's the south side of the river, approaching Hammersmith. It's quite pleasant, it's in the shade, which, believe it or not, is now very beneficial in October. So what's on this week? This week's menu is, today I'm at USP, which is why I'm walking to Hammersmith first of all, and then tomorrow I should be at home finishing a video or 2, maybe starting one, depending on how things go. Equally, I think I'm at home on Wednesday, and then Thursday I'm at USP for a media training day, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the US Grand Prix. So my weekend is kind of tomorrow and Wednesday, although I don't imagine I'll get both days off. And then, yeah, and then next week my weekend will be midweek as well. That's quite a big tree to have come down. It's one of the ashes. Wow. I wonder when that came down. Since I've been here last. That must have made a bit of a noise. And despite Treat Yourself weekend actually being over, we are probably going out tomorrow to see Alex and Anna, and then on Wednesday to see my parents. So there's a lot of eating out this week, and Crystal's out on Thursday as well. So yeah, that hasn't been very well planned by us, but there we go. Just going to have to, the bank balance is going to have to suck it up for a week, and then we're going to just have to be very chilled all the way to Christmas. There's Hammersmith Bridge. That means I'm pretty much there. My carriage literally awaits, although it's probably late. So, oh, that is a way of doing some exercise before we get to work. I was really hoping it would have been a bit cooler, but still, it's all good exercise fun. So after work today, I've got to get down to Teddington for my board appraisal. There's probably a few more steps to be done there, and then it's Veggie Day, so the excellent minestrone we made last week is making a reappearance.
My head.
No, it doesn't come out very red.
Sun has gone
This is
over.
the end. Beautiful friend. The end.
Oh yeah, no, look.
Cool, look how dirty those windows are.
All of the weird weather of yesterday, I'd kind of forgotten it was autumn. Today it's back to a very normal temperature, and still, you know, still pleasant, but it's not hot. The sky's normal colour. I suppose it's meteorologically boring actually today, but I'll take it. Actually, you know what? The weather is still a bit odd. The sun is still quite red, and maybe the end of days has not happened just yet, after all. I think I mentioned why. It's all over the news if you didn't see it. It's this hurricane that came past Ireland yesterday, came through Ireland in fact, had been swept in from the south, and it had been bringing in the warm winds with it, which is why we had the hot weather yesterday, but also a lot of Sahara dust, which is what's changed the colour of the sky and the sun. I am just where you expect me to be, because I don't have to be anywhere in particular today until this evening. I'm going for a bit of a walk around Kew. As I turned the corner there, down by Line Gate, and saw the scaffolding, it did remind me how much I miss seeing the pagoda when I come in. It's weird how you miss something, a piece of architecture that you're used to seeing. I mean, I'm used to seeing that was the gate always came in as a kid, so frankly I've seen that pagoda when I turn that corner most of the time in my last 37 years, so the last 6 months of it being invisible has been a bit tricky and a bit weird, and I'm very excited to see what it looks like, but kind of want it to be finished. It's not finished till spring. Oh well. Sky's being weird again. I've had to colour correct this because in the original film it comes out quite purple, and it's not. It's yellow, and the clouds are out of focus, if that makes sense. It's not the camera doing that, they are genuinely blurry clouds. Had to come in and see Hythe because I was talking earlier about monuments that you expect to see when you come into Kew, and this is now one of them, and it's a bit of a shame, but it's going in November and I want to find out where and why. So I had to come and just spend some time, just sit in it and listen to the bee melodies. It's very calming. Good evening. Today is the first day of the Eating Out Marathon. I suppose it's technically the second if you include the last weekend. I'm going into town to meet Crystal from work and Alex and Anna, who are driving down because we haven't seen them in months. So we're going to go out for an Australian, yes that's a thing, there's an Australian restaurant called Antipodia in Kew, and that is where we're going this evening. Good afternoon. This is Russell Square in central London, which is where I am to pop in to set something up at USP before I have to start quite early tomorrow. The only reason I decided to pop in this afternoon is because we're meeting my parents for dinner tonight, and it's just down the road from here, so I figured I'd rather do this than get up super early because mornings suck. So that's what's happening. Plus it is today particularly autumnal, just like mist in the air, and got that feeling of the night's closing in. Happy midday. It is Friday and I am walking as far as Hammersmith, or getting on the tube to work. I'm not starting until later because this weekend is the United States Grand Prix in Austin, Texas, and so we're slightly time shifted later this weekend. So I figured I'd do some exercise. The problem with these weekends is that you used to sit down for like 12 hours solidly, and it's horrible. So yes, you get to watch a Grand Prix, that is fun, but all the sitting in between and before and after is not. So this is my desperate attempt to do some exercise in the meantime. And because it's Friday, I should be doing a word of the week. Luckily, I recorded one earlier, and it's appropriate to give you some backstory because obviously this time last week we went out for dinner for Treat Yourself Day, and this week we've been out for dinner twice, once with Alex and Anna on Tuesday and then once with my parents on Wednesday. So we've been eating out quite a lot. So I'll hand over to me to explain this week's word of the week. So the word of the week this Friday is going to be dinner, because we're going out for dinner later. I thought I'd keep it simple. Plus there's something reasonably interesting about this word in German. So firstly, dinner in German is Abendessen, which literally means evening meal. And we did evening before, which was Abend, but dinner is Abendessen. It's das Abendessen, das as in the female form of the, and that's because the word Essen is feminine, so there we go. So das Abendessen in German for dinner. And in Italian, it's also female, it's la cena, the dinner. So there we go. There is your word of the week for this week. So there you go. Education complete. I'm now going to continue my nice little stroll along this here towpath. This mildly inclement weather system that we're having at the moment has been hilariously nicknamed Storm Brian, which I'm sure my dad will think is pretty silly. I'm not quite sure how it's technically a storm, and I don't quite know where the line is for a storm. There's very clear demarcations for what is a hurricane and what is a tropical storm, but just a regular old storm, seems a bit vague. So I guess mild windiness is what seems to pass for storm. It is October, so I mean it's always mildly windy. And the weather system is mostly moved through all the rains now in Europe. But so here we go. Welcome to Storm Brian. Here we are in Barnes. Just checking out the new eatery, which is literally called Barnes Eatery. Genius. And that ahead of me, green swathe on the right, is Leg of Mutton Nature Reserve. And instead of walking along the towpath, I think I'm going to go round that for a bit of variation today. And because I have a bit of time and I have a lot of steps to do. Well, that is a very strange name for a set of gardens, which is literally just this little strip that runs between the what is this, the Upper Richmond Road? Don't actually know, and the Thames Bath down to the Leg of Mutton Nature Reserve at the end. Small profit. This is the Leg of Mutton Nature Reserve, and this is the lake that runs in the middle of it. It's very long, runs pretty much the full length of the reserve, and it runs parallel to the Thames. And because of that, I'm pretty sure it's some sort of oxbow lake or something. Who remembers GCSE geography? So probably caused by the original path of the Thames changing and this being left over, essentially. It's actually quite massive. Might see if we can have a little nose. There we go. If it weren't for the planes, it would be quite tranquil. Good to see Storm Brian's back now that I'm approaching the end of my walk. Outside of Hammersmith Bridge lies, well, Hammersmith Underground Station and my lunch, more importantly. So here we are at work. We have actual racing. These are the two-seaters going out. And we have game racing. It's both the Circuit of the Americas. Just getting practice in. I need to go and get some dinner though. Hello again. So I recorded this earlier, obviously, because I've become accustomed to the idea that I forget late on a Friday to do an outro. And seeing as I will be in the darkness surrounded by FP2 for the US Grand Prix, I'm almost certainly going to forget. So thank you for watching this. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll subscribe so I can see you next week.